Hey guys, Josh Culler here, the host of the Good Success Podcast. Hey, I'm just dropping in here to let you know that we are giving a free book away. Yes, a free book called Active Turnkey, The Best Way to Buy Rentals by Tom Olson himself, the president of Good Success. Yes, I did say we are giving it away for free. All you got to do is go to goodsuccess.com/ATKbook. Again, that's goodsuccess.com/ATKbook. as an active turnkey. And we're going to cover the book. So we're going to actually pay for the book and give it to you for free. We're just asking you to cover shipping costs, which is very minimal compared to the value that you're going to be getting in the book. So if you are interested in learning how to create financial freedom with real estate, go get your copy now. Again, that is goodsuccess.com/ATKbook. Thank you for listening to the Good Success Podcast, and I hope you enjoy this episode. Welcome back to the Good Success Podcast. I'm your host, Josh Culler, and we got Tom Olson still in Rhode Island. He's not been there for 3 months. We were just recording a bunch of episodes while he's in Rhode Island. But Tom himself, what's going on, Tom?
Why are we recording all these episodes, Josh?
Because Tom's committed.
No, because you're going on your honeymoon to Iceland.
That's right, yeah.
We are extremely excited about, Josh. So we are here to make sure that you can go to Iceland. Although I think it'd be pretty cool to do a podcast when you're in Iceland. I'm just saying.
I said the same thing, but Gabby's just like,
I don't know. We're going to have to talk with her.
Especially from the Blue Lagoon. That would be really cool.
Come on,
That's
Josh.
exactly right.
Josh.
Hey, Tom, she's your personal assistant, so maybe you can.
I know. We're going to have a talk.
Okay, cool.
Bonus for the episode.
It's a bonus session. Hey. Josh in Iceland. What about some real estate in Iceland? Buy some notes while you're there.
And they do. I'm Airbnb-ing around the entire island. So,
dude, that's awesome.
Hey, you know what it is. So we got Tom on the show, and he's committed, so he's here. And then Scott Carson. I'm super pumped about this. Scott loves green, by the way. I don't know if you guys can notice that, but he loves green. So that's awesome to have him on. So if you guys are on Facebook, period, you've probably seen Scott in some way, shape, or form. So he is like the educator on notes, buying notes, investing on notes. And I'll be honest with you, I even told him before we jumped on the show, and I texted Tom earlier today. I'm like, I know very little about notes, so I'm going to ask some good questions here. So I'm excited about learning this. A lot of education that's going to happen here. So you guys stick around, some great stuff. But so Scott is with the CEO of We Close Notes, and his website is weclosenotes.com. He's got a blog on there. I'm going to list like everything that's going down. So he's got an incredible blog. He's got 3 podcasts. So the first one is Note Camp Podcast, which is on his website. And then he's all over Facebook with Note Closers Show, the Note Closer Show. And then he just informed me that there's the Note Night in America, which is on Mondays. So Scott loves podcasting. Is that safe to say?
It's not necessarily podcasting, because if it was just podcasting, it'd be all audio. I love what video provides.
There you go.
Everything, and we just like to double dip, and we believe in a thing called the content octagon, taking one piece of content and sharing it across different platforms. So yes,
hey, we do that too. It's all good. This is gonna get chopped up into micro content and everything. We got Emily here; she helps me out with that as well. So absolutely,
that's awesome. Well, in addition to that, Josh, I just want to let everybody, all our listeners, know that I've known Scott for a while, and everything I've ever seen or heard about him has always been of the utmost respect and integrity. And that's something in real estate that we do need to keep, is that integrity to do the right thing and always do the right thing. And I believe in Scott. I think there are some people that do notes that I don't think have the most integrity. And there are people that do real estate that don't have the utmost integrity. And Good Success only wants to promote people that I think that have the utmost integrity, do the right thing, and really are a conduit, not a bucket. So as you can see, he's giving away so much free content and so much free information. He's trying to teach everybody what he knows, and I just appreciate that about Scott.
Well, absolutely. Tom, thank you very much. I'll make sure that the check goes out today for that.
That was not
I got you
sponsored by.
I just jumped on like 2 seconds before we started this. So
this show is sponsored by We Close Notes,
and I'm honored to be here too. I would totally agree. There are those that are up on the ethical side, and then those that like to hide beneath it or run from the ethical side when it comes to not just notes but real estate investing. And I think we all believe the real estate investors is a small community anyway, and our note side is even smaller nichiness. to it. So if somebody's not ethical, not upstanding, they usually burn a few bridges. They're out of the business before too long, looking for something else. Maybe Bitcoin or something else. Who knows? But anyway, moving on. Not anyway. But I'm honored to be here. Same thing. Honored to be part of it. Love what you're doing, and we've known each other for a while. We've been a part of different mastermind groups, and then got a chance to reconnect on the Financial Friends Network cruise in January on that rocky boat. But anyway, glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome stuff. So there's a lot of free content out here, but you guys are about to get more free content on this podcast. So I'm looking forward to interviewing Scott and getting to learn more about notes and how to invest in them. And a side note here, but Scott is also a Cowboys fan. Go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys. That's right.
I think you just lost half the audience. So.
Go
That's
Cowboys,
okay.
man.
That's fine. I'm not everybody's flavor. Don't need them if they don't need them. I'm good. I'm confident enough myself.
Hey, listen, I was born in Chicagoland area, so I tell people I'm a Bears fan by birth and a Cowboys fan by choice. So
there you go.
Hey,
word.
Nice.
Hey,
Josh likes you, Scott.
Hey, we're friends already, fast friends, right?
That's right.
So
That's
so
right.
anyway,
You're-
Matt, yeah. We know the Texas people. So Scott's from Austin.
Yes.
We got people in Dallas. We got people
That's
in
true.
Houston. Texas. That's where it's at, apparently. So anyway,
right.
but we're going to come back around and interview Scott. This is going to be a fun podcast. I'm very much looking forward to this. But before we get into it, if you guys haven't already, make sure you have subscribed to the Good Success Podcast. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, all the podcast platforms. Just go there, look up Good Success, subscribe. And if you're able to, leave us a review. We would love to hear your thoughts on these podcast episodes and the interviews. And if you guys have any input on somebody we should interview, we would love to hear that as well. And then we have the Active Turnkey book, written by Tom Olson himself, The Best Way to Buy Rentals. Go pick that up. He is paying for the book. You guys can get it for free. So for free, you can pick this book up. Go to goodsuccess.com/ATK book. All you got to do is cover shipping costs, and we're going to ship it to you. Again, Tom's paying for that. And a lot of great information on there, how to build wealth in rentals and the best way to buy rentals. So make sure you guys take advantage of that. Some great value. Again, that's goodsuccess.com/ATK book. And then our mastermind, I was just telling Tom that we are stacking up for the mastermind. I'm super excited about this. The Good Success Mastermind next event is November 8, 9, and 10. And that is in Miami, Florida, sunny Miami, Florida. We're going to have a boat ride for some networking the night before. I'm excited about that. NREG is sponsoring that. And we're going to have a lot of fun. So a good group of people that we're going to have there. A lot of new attendees, some valuable stuff. Tom, you want to talk about it anymore?
Well, the boat ride is going to be awesome. So if you guys are going to be there, you're going to be there. If you're going to miss it, then you're going to miss it.
Absolutely. And what happens on the boat stays on the boat or goes on social media. One or the other. You get to choose. It's your choice. But anyway, you can learn more about that at Good Success. What was that?
Happens on the boat. I'm just joking.
Oh my goodness! If you listen on the podcast, that was Scott.
Be there, and he wants what happens on the boat to stay on the boat.
That's hilarious.
It's Viva La Miami, isn't it?
It's
That is
Viva La Miami. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you guys can learn more about that at goodsuccess.com/mastermind. We have you fill out an application, and you can check that out there. Fill out the application. You'll talk to either myself or Tom, and we'll get you in. So then the Community Go-Giver event is coming up June 26, 27, 28. I know it says it's coming up, but we got early bird pricing already happening. So you guys can pick those up at communitygogiver.com. Tom's already got an awesome lineup, which we're going to make more announcements about as the time comes. But you guys can go to communitygogiver.com, save a couple $100 on early bird pricing. A lot of great information there about our vision on flipping Gary and kind of just building up our communities. So Tom, you want to chat about that anymore? Or are we good to go?
No, if you're looking for ways or a place to acquire, if you're looking for information on how to acquire houses, on how to help build a community, on how to do better construction, better property management, or if you want to understand more about turnkeys or low-income housing, which in my opinion, low-income housing and affordable housing is probably one of the biggest opportunities I think we're going to have over the next decade. I would definitely come check us out and come see us at the Community Go-Giver event. We are trying to find people around the country that don't only want to just do real estate, but they want to do it for the right reason. They want to help their community, actually want to help people and make it so it's a thriving community as well. Because I think that legacy that you leave of being that Community Go-Giver, if people know you as being a Community Go-Giver, like that changes everything.
Absolutely. So Tom said it there. Go check it out, communitygogiver.com. Save a couple $100, early bird pricing. And then Tom, I wanted to point something out. So I just got a box in the mail today of some Think Realty magazines. So there's Jamie Woolley. She's pretty cool. So she's in Dallas, Texas, but
I bet you she's a Cowboys fan.
I think she is.
He
actually.
is actually.
Yeah.
He is, and a big wholesaler up that neck of the woods. Jamie's great.
Yeah, awesome. I've got the pleasure to meet her. She's awesome. But what I wanted to show is Tom is in the magazine as the single family investor of the year award winner for Think Realty. So yeah, we hear the applause going on. That's awesome. So so Tom's a winner. So you guys can go pick up the magazine. And I see somebody else in there. So Ken Lacey part of our mastermind as well.
Mastermind.
Absolutely. So he's the humanitarian of the year. So congratulations, Ken, if you're listening, and some cool stuff. So just want to point that out. Very cool. So without further ado, let's get into the interview. I got some educating that's going to be happening to me during this interview. So I'm very excited about it. Scott, we talked enough. Do us a brief introduction, who you are, what you do. We've already done a little bit of it, but from your perspective.
No problem. Once again, thanks for having me. And Tom, congratulations on the national award. You couldn't come to a better deserving individual, by the way. So, but for those that don't know me, I'm known across the country as the Note Guy. Been buying distressed debt since 2008. So over 10 years now in the industry of either originating, creating, or buying distressed assets, especially on residential or commercial properties. But Austin, Texas is home. I love absolutely what I do. Every day is a fun thing because we are truly working to make America great again, one mortgage at a time. Awesome. We believe in a philosophy of working to rehab the borrower versus the property. Big believer in cash flow is king. I don't necessarily want to get into fix and flipping properties. We love the cash flow aspect of things, and we buy distressed debt in roughly about 35 different states across the United States on a pretty regular basis. This year will mark the 5th year in a row that we'll end up averaging at least one closed note per day throughout the year.
Awesome.
So we do a lot of transactions, and we're very blessed to have a great staff that supports us and even more awesome students. And that's the biggest joy in what we do with We Close Notes and the podcast and all that stuff is the success that our students have going out, not only helping themselves out, financially and changing their lives, but also changing the lives of the borrowers in the neighborhoods. I mean, day in, day out, we get a lot of phone calls and emails from people that are going out and, helping homeowners stay in their homes, working with them when the banks would not, or the hedge funds were very greedy, and really working to help people, get back that dream of homeownership. Awesome
stuff. So then getting into note investing, I've got 7 questions here about notes. I don't know if we have time to get to all of them, but we're going to start from the top here. So somebody that's brand new to note investing for beginners, let's just say note investing for dummies. You're going to come out with a book for that. I just gave you
we already do. We have the classes for dummies. So
there you go. There you go. Hey, there it is. So explain note investing to us.
So what is distressed note? What is note investing? Well, if you have a mortgage or a car payment or a credit card or student loans, you're in the note business. You're just on the wrong side of the payment stream. Okay. So what we do when we buy notes is we get lists from banks and hedge fund managers of lists of mortgages. I mean, literally lists hundreds and thousands of these notes, these mortgages that we can pick up for a fraction of what's owed, usually 50 cents on the dollar of the balance or the value or less, that we can pick up at a discount because we're buying the mortgage. Okay. So easy numbers. Let's say somebody owes $120,000 on their $100,000 house, upside down. They haven't paid in a year, 2 years, or 4 years in some cases. We'll buy that debt at a fraction, maybe 30, 40 grand. And that gives us a flexibility to work out a modification, a payment plan, something with a homeowner. Do they want to stay? If they want to stay, they got to pay. And so we try to, negotiate with them in some sort of fashion. Hey, do we need to forgive 20 grand to make it, drop your balance down? Do we need to take the back payments and put it on the face amount of the note? Or do we need to drop the payment down something that's affordable and work our way to get it? Or do you just want to walk away? That happens a lot of time. The homeowners will just sign the property over and walk away, and we'll do a deed in lieu or cash for keys or even assist with them in a short sale. But basically, when we buy the debt, we step into the bank's shoes and become the bank and have all the same rights. And we also have a lot of flexibility in working out, trying to create a win-win with the borrowers.
Understood. Gotcha. So then along the same line, so I know you talked about it a little bit, but going a little deeper into it, what are some strategies for distressed note investing?
Are you talking like exit strategies, how to find assets?
Yeah. How do you make money doing what you do?
Oh, make money what we do? All right. So that's a beautiful thing is our first goal is, like I said, to rehab the borrower. So our goal is if we buy it at a discount, let's say that same scenario, we buy it at $30,000, mortgage payment on $120,000, probably around $700, $800 a month. 800 times 12 is 9,600. Well, if we get them to reinstate is the first thing, that's almost a 30% yield to us. Okay. Even if we drop down the payment a little bit, it still gives us some flexibility. Our goal is we hold on to that note for 6 to 12 months. It's now a reperforming note. And now we could sell it after 12 months of on-time payments for, 80, 85%, and then another 50% in the back end. Okay. If the borrower won't work with us in some sort of fashion, or they just tell us to pound sand, we still have the right to foreclose. So we buy that note at a discount and then foreclose, and either A, sell it at the foreclosure auction for what the market will bear, or take it back, keep it as a rental, turn it into an owner finance deal, or then just sell it as an REO. So the beautiful thing that I love about notes is that we see these deals 6 to 12 months before traditional investors do. Okay. Most of our stuff, it never hits the MLS. Most of our stuff is never going to hit a penance list or anything like that. We see stuff so much, closer and sooner than a lot of other real estate investors because we're so close to the bank. A lot of real estate investors, when they buy real estate, they want to buy the property. Well, we buy the debt and we control the equity, or we control the property by being the bank. And so a lot of ways to make money. We've got about 10 different exit strategies that we can do. Sometimes we get the borrowers to do a cash payoff. Sometimes we'll negotiate a short sale. I'm the fastest short sale negotiation company in America. You get a bid in. We look at what we paid for. What's the seller going to pay? Hang on a second. You're approved.
If you guys are listening to the podcast, all he did was turn in his.
I just spin around my office. I'm like, okay.
And if you've ever done short sales, that's the type of person you want to be dealing with.
Yeah, exactly. We can make a decision in 9 seconds oftentimes versus 9 months. But
Right.
that's the beauty of the paper side. We see stuff. Now, don't get me wrong. We get lists in that have vacant properties that we'll sometimes take a look at. I'm a big advocate in being focused in one lane so you can have the most amount of success and do the most amount of good or damage. Some people get in the note business because they want to take down properties and add it to the rental portfolio. Me, I just want to be the bank and control the assets and get, not mailbox money every month, but wire money that comes in directly where I can do my business from. If I'm here in Austin or I'm in Ohio or Barcelona or Italy, wherever, I can do my business from wherever I'm traveling.
Understood. So you said there's about 10 exit strategies that I hear you right. So
Yep.
what are some of the best ones? The top maybe 2 or 3.
I'll just write them off. You can wholesale notes just like you can a traditional piece of property. That's the first one. If you get a deal, you can wholesale it off. Second one is you buy a note is try to get them reinstated. Start paying on time. Third thing is a trial payment plan or a modification. Okay. Fourth thing is letting somebody come over and assume the mortgage. A borrower, a sibling, somebody in the family, or even next door neighbors take over. It's assuming. Most people don't know about that. Cash for keys is, or deed in lieu is another way that we do it. Short sale that we talked about. Okay. If we buy the note and we want to keep performing paper or try to get reperforming, the borrower tells us to pound sand. Well, we could sell that note off. That's exit number 7. 8 is a cash payoff. 9 is foreclosure. And then the 10th exit strategy is to resell the note once it's gotten performing, like we talked about. So, but most of the strategies come down to basically 1 of 3: either a performing, a re-performance, cash for keys, deed in lieu of some sort, where we take the property back, or we foreclose. So those are the 10 biggest ones, narrowed down to 3. If that makes sense. I know I just hit you with a upside with a side of beef note business there. But
none of these
love too. I'm sorry, Tom. Go ahead.
None of these work though if you don't buy them right.
So that's my next question. So due diligence. What does somebody need to do to make sure that they're doing their due diligence? In real estate, that's the big thing. Do your due diligence no matter what deal you're doing. So
right, and that's due diligence dives into a lot with our pricing aspect. You want to make sure that you're buying at a price that makes sense. We don't usually buy above 50 cents of value for the most part. I mean, that's a big factor. If you're going to buy above that, you got to make sure it's in a faster foreclosure market. Make sure that it's not damaged on the inside. This is why I like buying occupied assets versus vacant assets. If it's vacant, oftentimes the air conditioner has gone on a walkabout, or the copper goblins have showed up, okay? Or in different parts of the country, you now have an interior water feature, which we don't want, especially
No.
Okay? So due diligence is basically 3 things. We like to obviously check values. That's so important. We always have realtors drive by. We always put eyes on it. Have somebody look at it, make sure pull values on it. Second thing is checking title. We do that with seeing what liens are on the property, making sure that the collateral is good, make sure we haven't been wiped out in a tax foreclosure of some sort, okay? And the third thing, for the most part, is your exit strategy. Really, where do you think this is going to go? Is it occupied? Great. That opens up to a lot of exit strategy. Is it vacant? Well, you better make sure and try to get inside that house to make sure that it's not damaged, because we all know ahas, oh, craps, things can happen if something's been sitting vacant for a while. So always confirming value, always checking your paperwork and title work, and then always checking title and taxes, sorry.
So then it sounds like the upfront due diligence might determine your exit strategy. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, there's a variety of things. You never know which way a note's going to go. I may look at a note and see that it's occupied and the borrower's got a job by looking at the loan file and seeing exactly what they do, but they still may just tell me to go pound sand. And then I've had others that I thought was vacant, and we were looking at stuff, but the power was on, and then the borrower just reinstated on our first letter campaign out to them.
Gotcha. So
this is why we Facebook stalk our borrowers, LinkedIn stalk them. We've had borrowers that we've seen online that were going through transitions. That makes sense. He was becoming a she and didn't want to pay their mortgage to me. Okay. Another borrower of ours, like, oh, should I pay the mortgage or take my daughter to Disneyland this year? I'm going to take
Good choice.
So we always call to see if utilities, if there's a big utility bill or the utilities are turned off, that's usually a red flag for us, okay? Checking taxes owed. This is one of the most important things. You can do this from a website, Netra Online, call every taxing department out there in America to make sure that the taxes are up to date, or if there is taxes owed, it's only for the last year, or that the name on the tax roll matches up with the mortgage that you're buying, okay? Those are critical things. And then, of course, just checking the servicing statements or servicing notes, because most of our notes that we're buying are boarded with a national servicer who's been trying to collect or has communicated with the borrower in the past of some sort. So looking at those, seeing what's going on. I mean, the beautiful thing is looking at the collateral. I mean, you get so much information, the original loan documents. I've gotten, stacks, collateral files that are like yay thick, tall, that I can see that this person has tried to do a loan mod 4 or 5 times. That, wow. I can see their passion for staying in the house. Or I also see, I get all the updates so that, it is vacant and it's trashed out. So let's avoid that from the property preservation team before we buy. So that's the beautiful thing about notes, is oftentimes we're making an offer on the front end by doing some quick due diligence and waiting to see what is accepted or countered. And then we do a really deep dive into that collateral afterwards and then going from there. But, we find that, hey, it's trashed out before we close. You say, hey, this is trashed out. We're not going to buy it. And we can walk away from it, which is really, really nice.
Okay. So what type of crowd are your typical investors with notes?
My avatar, here we go, because I know my audience, is a 35 to 65 college-educated homeowner, usually has an interest for Flip This House or an A&E TV, okay? Makes between $75,000 and $250,000 a year, has some sort of O in their title or management aspect of CEO, COO, stuff like that. We get a lot of engineers that love this business because it's numbers focused. A lot of ex-mortgage brokers do a really good job of this as well because it's the paper side. Yeah. We just get people that are landlords that are tired of the toilets, trash outs, and termites. You know what I mean? We also get tired. We get a lot of REO investors who are tired of battling the crowds at the foreclosure auctions or can't find something from Fannie and Freddie and are trying to add to their real estate portfolio by coming here, because we see a lot of stuff, still a lot of inventory out there.
Gotcha. So then what's the advantage? Oh, go ahead, Tom.
So what are the best ways to get in then to note investing? So it seems like just like with real estate, you obviously have to have money to go buy those notes. So like, I'm assuming I can come to you and say, hey, will you go buy these notes and you do all that stuff and I'll just be a money investor. And then there's other people that are maybe on the other side, and maybe some people do both. And is there other ways to be involved in note investing?
Oh yeah, totally, Tom. We have a lot of people that will get their feet wet and use their IRA accounts. I mean, self-directed IRA accounts are a huge aspect. We fund a lot of our deals with OPM. You have people that get into it and they're like, I really don't want to do that much work. I'd rather just write a check and either get a flat, ROI on my money or a split of profits, like an equity split. But a lot of people get in, most people believe that you need to have $2 to $5 million to really get in this business. That would have been the case 10 years ago, but the market's changed so much. It's so many of these in the last 10 years. This is truly a secondary market that has blossomed because all the traditional note buyers went away for a while. So I always make the joke that we buy and survive on crumbs from the mortgage companies, but they're really nice crumbs, really nice living, because there's still a ton of
they're bigger
3 million borrowers upside down in their house from the last 10 years. We still have a national default rate that's 200% higher than it was at its lowest a few years back. And so there's still a lot being created. So there's literally about 4 to 5% of all the new loans or originations or refinances are going into default still. So there's still a lot of opportunity to cherry pick from banks and hedge funds. Now, one big clarification for those listening, you're not going to go down to Bank of America, Chase, Citibank, Wells Fargo, and walk in there and buy a note from those guys. They're not going to deal with you. Heck, the guy at the local bank isn't going to know where to send you anyway. You got to have $50 million to buy from those guys. But there's literally thousands of other smaller banks, smaller real estate hedge funds that have stuff available for you that they'll sell it in either smaller trades, or we call them mini bulk or one-offs and stuff like that. And that's where we have really shined, is finding those, those banks and hedge funds and stuff like that, and being able to close on stuff, whether it's a one-off asset or it's a portfolio of 300. There's opportunities out there. And yes, don't listen to what some people tell you. You can buy direct from banks. You just got to talk to the right departments inside the banks. And those those departments, they go by a couple different names. If you remember anything from this podcast, or you write anything down, this is what you should probably write down. The people inside of the banks that sell notes are usually in the secondary marketing department, or the special assets department. Not REO, not customer service, special assets or secondary marketing department. Those are the guys and gals that look at the bank's portfolios and decide what they're selling off. And as we come into the fourth quarter of 2018 and into the first quarter of 2019, the next 6 months are the best months out there to buy, because banks are looking to get stuff off their books before the year is out, depending on when their fiscal year ends, whether it's the end of the year or the end of Q1 2019.
Awesome. That's very valuable. So we had Noel Christopher on here a few podcasts ago from Renters Warehouse. We were talking about investing in general. Him and Tom were hitting the ball back and forth, talking about Wall Street, talking about investing in rentals and, all that kind of stuff. So this is obviously a way that you can invest, buying notes. So is there any advantages to buying notes over any other investment strategies?
I will tell you this. You need a team to do notes. You can be a one-man band on about 20 deals. If you want to go out and try to do the workouts and the, due diligence, and then afterwards trying to get them collect, you need servicing, you need vendors in this business. You need attorneys, you need a servicing company. And after you start buying enough, you really need a team to help you out with the collateral and all the little things that go on with getting stuff recorded and make sure notices are sent out. Your servicing company can help out with that. So that's one of the nice things is, instead of being a jack of all trades, like a lot of investors are, where they want to go out and fix it and flip it and touch it and rub it and hump it and all that good stuff. With note investing, you have to approach like you're a general manager of a franchise. Okay. Yes, you look at what you're doing. You need to know what's going on, how to do those things, but you need to learn to delegate. And I know Tom's a big fan of this with traction and other things out there, right? Delegation and putting people in the right spots. The same way here. You've got to be able to delegate to your attorneys. You got to delegate to your servicers what you want to accomplish, what you're looking for, and learn to do that. The most important hire you can make as a note investor is hiring an assistant, honestly, to help you out with a lot of things, because you as an entrepreneur, especially in the note business, you need to be doing three things. One, finding deals. Two, raising capital. All right. And then three, basically directing your team. Perfect. That makes sense. It's more of a hands-off business. Like I don't go – look, I'll drive by some assets if I'm in an area. Like I was in Michigan for an event, so I took a couple extra days to drive around and get assets. But most of the time, I'm buying assets. I'm not ever seeing them in person. I have people that do that. And then my staff is dealing with the borrowers, or my vendors, my attorneys are dealing with the borrowers, getting those to work out, getting deed and loans taken care of. And then I get email updates, or I get a spreadsheet that I can go over with them and talk with them from wherever I'm at. Versus have to go out and pick out paint colors and carpet. I don't want to do that. It's not an effective use of my time. I'm not bashing it because I've done that in the past. And if you're doing something in a local market, great. All in things, I think it's phenomenal. But if you're going to do bigger, you got to have a team. And I think that's the most important aspect, because the more you have systems down and have your team working stuff, the more money you make in this business. Otherwise, honestly, if you're trying to do too many things, it'll eat you alive like anything else will.
Absolutely. So the second thing that you said that you need to know with note investing is raising capital. So what are some things people can do, some strategies they can take on for raising capital for notes?
Oh my God. This is probably the second most important thing that I speak on all the time is about raising capital. And I'm going to give you a nugget that we use. And it's just, there are so many private investors out there wishing you would call them or wishing you would drop a letter or something to them. So we work with a lot of private investors, okay? A lot of self-directed IRA investors. And one of our habits is we go out onto the county appraisal websites, okay? And we'll do a search for IRA custodians or trustees. So we'll do a search for Quest IRA or Equity Trust or, whatever. There's 45, 50 different self-directed custodians out there. So we'll go to Travis County here, type in Quest IRA, and it'll give us 200 people that own a piece of real estate inside of their IRA, because it'll say Quest IRA for the benefit of Tom Olson IRA. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Or, Equity Trust IRA, FBO, Josh, whatever. One number 1, 2, 3. So we pull those lists. There's 200, 300. I can pull a list literally in like 5 minutes of 1,000 people that have pulled the trigger. Hang on. With their self-directed IRA. Yes, I have a nice box. I'm a big kid.
Hey, where did you get that? I need one.
If you drop me your mail address, I'll shop it over to you. All right.
Awesome.
I think I picked this one up on the streets of San Francisco. It's like the best my marketing ever. But anyway, so what we do is we pull these lists of property owners who own real estate in their IRA, and because you already have something in common. One, you're real estate investors, so they are. Two, they've got money and they're afraid to pull the trigger. And three, since it's in their IRA, they can't usually touch it themselves. They've got to have outside sources. So the note business is phenomenal for this. So we jump in the county appraisal district. We also go to the county clerk, do the same search to see people who have lent money out of their IRA. And then we do a postcard. We'll drop out a book to them. We do all sorts. That's the only direct mail we do is actually out to IRA investors. And it's like shooting fish in a barrel because they're looking for deals. They're looking to put their money to work. And you don't have to go out and try to reinvent the wheel because they understand it, because they have a self-directed IRA. They've been to the workshop. They've been to the circus. They've seen the lights and the elephants. They just want to write a check most of the time or wire you money to get things done. And that's literally how we raise capital all across the country, by just jumping on county appraisal websites. That information is just free, waiting for somebody to reach out to them.
Yeah. That's good stuff, man. That's
I was in the mastermind last weekend, and it was so funny because on one hand you had American Association of Private Lenders, and another hand you had people that are like, I don't know where to find money. And it was like, if you just hook up these two people together, there are so many people out here looking for deals that have money, and then so many people over here that have deals and are looking for money. Like money looking for deals looking for money. It's everywhere. And it's very easy to find it. You have a good deal and you believe in your product and you do what you say you're going to do.
That's the thing, is if you got a great deal, good deals find money. You just got to get out and communicate. So that's part of what we do, is just dropping a postcard out. Hey, are you putting your IRA to work? Are we seeing you've been in a deal? Would love to visit with you and help you put more deals in your IRAs. It's simple. I mean, we get like a 35% response rate. And what's sad is Tom and I know a lot of the same people out in the industry. We've had people come to me, how do you raising capital? And I tell them that, like, oh, that's too much work. I'm like, oh, then don't talk to me ever again. That's too much work.
Yeah, that's some incredible stuff. So some good nuggets. Yeah. So we're going to have to, I think we're getting close to the time here. So we're going to have to wrap this up here with a few short questions. You have so much content out there that we could talk all day about this stuff that, I mean, I have so many questions still, but you've explained everything very well. So I appreciate that. So we talk about especially with real estate investors. So we have people that are on the podcast that are fix and flippers, wholesalers, they do rentals and property managers, stuff like that. And a lot of times they're trying to squeeze the life out of a deal and try to get the most out of it. So for instance, like a property manager might add ancillary sales to, a TV that's $50 a month for the tenant to rent pretty much, or whatever. Tom talks about putting granite countertops in the flips and how that can get a little bit more out of the rental. So for notes, what are some things that people can do to squeeze the life to get the most out of their note investment?
It's all about talking with the borrowers for the most part, especially that initial conversation. A lot of banks like to try to do this huge financial package, and the borrowers, they're not checking their mail. They stopped answering letters from the bank months ago or years ago. So my biggest thing is, let's just see what we can get on the first conversation, the first letter, when we talk with the borrowers. Hey, what can you afford? Let's get down to brass tacks here. What can you afford? Can you bring anything extra to the table? And then just being flexible, and then shutting up and letting the borrower tell you. They'll tell you what they can afford. Oh, I can cut this off, or I can cut this off. Okay, great. Can you bring $2,000 to the table? Oh, no. Okay, can you bring $1,000? Yeah, I can bring $1,000. Okay. can you pay an extra $100 a month for 10 months on top of your existing payment? So being flexible is the biggest thing. Secondly, this is going to sound opposite, paying for counsel. Don't sit around waiting for the borrower to do something. If they're not going to do something in the first 2 weeks, the first 30 days, start foreclosures, start the legal process, because it'll save you money in the long run. Because if you give somebody an inch, they'll take a mile. You guys know this. Tom's, you had that happen plenty of time, right, brother? So hiring good attorneys to literally be bulldogs. We've got, I call them SEAL Team Singer. We've got a group, because that's if you want something done fast, you send, the military sends in SEAL Team 6, right? Yeah. We send in our attorneys immediately, get them on the phone. If they don't perform, if they're not going to follow through with what they promised us, then we start the foreclosure process. Because I don't run a charity. I donate to charities. There are other things I do out there to give back. But look, I can be a borrower's best friend, but I can be the worst nightmare. We're here to help them out. But if they're not going to help themselves, then I'm not going to sit here and just give them the world.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yep.
So, and that goes along with their due diligence in the first place when it comes down to it. So awesome stuff. So we got a couple other questions, but I want to start doing this a little bit more. So I need you to quick fire like 3 things with note investing. 3 of the top things that you could just like spout off that like people need to know about note investing.
The 3 things about note investing: notes, great returns. The worst non-performing, the higher returns. That's the big thing. The higher the risk, the higher the returns, or actually the lower the risk, the higher returns are with note investing. It's vendors. You can buy notes all across the country. I just would not buy in New York or New Jersey. And it is such a smaller community. I think the note community is so small. It's just a great giving. If you have problems, if you reach out and ask questions in the community, a lot of people will be willing to share. Hey, use this attorney, use this realtor. If you're an introvert in the note business, I'm sorry, it's not the place for you.
So you said community. Is there a specific place where people can connect?
Online, Facebook is a great. Facebook has got some great stuff. We've got a private group for our students that just is phenomenal. But going to the conferences, there's a couple conferences a year that roll out there, are pretty good to networking. Just getting online though, it's still such a small face, small group. Just getting out, communicating. Everybody knows everybody here. I've bought notes from people, and then they've bought notes from me. It's just because I wanted a non-performing and they wanted performing. So I bought the non-performing, got it re-performing, and then sold it back to them. It's just, there's so many ways to skin the proverbial cat out there. You don't have to, if you're fixed on just one exit strategy, you're going to actually hurt yourself. You have to be open to what that deal is going to take you down that road.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Tom, you have any other questions? If not, we're going to do our last couple.
No, I think we've done pretty well so far. The only question I have is I know you have a lot of your own education. You have a lot of your own groups and a lot of your own events. Can you give us, the audience, a couple little bit of snippets about that? Do you have any events coming up that maybe one of our audience may be interested in going to? We want to push people to you as much as we possibly can.
Yeah, same here back. The easiest way out, we have our final workshop of 2018, November 30th through December 2nd. It's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's online, completely online, so you can live stream it. If you use the code Good Success, we'll knock the price in half from $5.99 down to $2.99.
Awesome.
Okay. Don't forget, email me. I'll make sure and send you the code. All right. We'll just use the Good Success. Good S. How's that sound? All right.
There you go.
I gotta remember that and go internet fusion's off now. But literally, yeah. If you go to weclosenotes.com, we've got so many videos out there, thousands of videos, thousands of episodes. Here's another little bonus. If you text the word notes, NOTES, to the cell phone number 72000, it'll send you a text back for 80 hours of free video entertaining and a PowerPoint on the basics of note investing, awesome. How to find, fund, and flip. So cool. Notes to 72,000, but we got the podcast. If you Google Scott Carson or We Close Notes, you're going to be bombarded with way so much stuff already, and just take it a little bit easy. How do you eat an elephant one bite at a time and not the ass end first?
Awesome. Yeah, it's so much content. I was doing some research on Scott, trying to figure out what questions I'm going to ask, and I was just I keep going this way and that way and this way, like everywhere. Scott's everywhere. So lots of content out there for you guys. You're not going to be, left on a cliffhanger with this. So Yeah, awesome stuff. So we'll link that in the comment section below so you guys can check that out. His website's weclosenotes.com. So you guys, they can sign up on the website, correct?
Yep.
You said? Okay,
Yep, there's plenty of links there as well.
Awesome. So we got our last two questions that we ask every single interviewee that we have on the show. Always interested to hear what they have to say. So good success. You know Tom, so you know what he's all about. You've even talked about it. Good success for us means something. It's all about the quality of the success and the impact you're having on the world, and our core values are community growth, stewardship, and charity. And we very much center everything that we do around those things. So when you hear the term good success, what does that mean to you?
I think success more so in our phase is how successful the people that are around you are. I'm a big believer in servant leadership. I know Tom is as well. If I can make my students and my staff more successful, I'm naturally going to rise up with them as well. I realized a long time ago I could not do everything I want to do by myself. So I have stopped a long time ago of having been internal focus on me to being outward focus. How can I best help people succeed? And that's the thing that I love getting every day is getting phone calls, emails from students, text messages. Hey, thanks, man. I closed on a big deal, or they're doing other things in their lives. We have a lot of people that are not only just buying notes for themselves, but they're going out and donating money. They're starting their own charities to help that. And that's the biggest thing that we love doing. And we do that on a regular basis, especially Christmas. We do a lot with Toys for Tots. Anybody that's an extra pass military or first responder, we comp into our workshops for free, because we want to help them out for them sacrificing their time. We want to help them out as well too. So success is all about how successful you're making the people around you. I think that's yes, we all can do things, but you really didn't leave an impact on the world. I've always loved the term to kindle. If you know what kindling means, you start with a little fire and then that fire spreads. And I think that's the biggest thing. That's what Tom, you guys are great at doing that, spreading the wealth, not only through your guys' stuff in the mastermind, but literally helping. And that's really what I believe how America is going to get good again. We're all going to make it great again is what we do as entrepreneurs. What we do as real estate investors, how to help really financially educate society and spread the word of what we're doing. Because let's face it, there's enough negativity on Facebook and all the crappy news, fake news stuff there that you can't trust anything you hear on the news. We are responsible, and we as entrepreneurs have to take a bigger stand and making a difference. The athletes aren't going to do it. They like to complain. They're not going to take a stand until they're on national TV. 6 months out of the year, you didn't hear a peep out of them. But we as entrepreneurs, we're the ones that are doing this day in, day out. We're changing America's lives. We're changing borrowers, renters, homeowners. I think we're the ones that have the biggest responsibility to make something happen.
Absolutely. I love that. Good stuff. We appreciate that. And yeah, Sean Taggy even said something to that effect, but a different angle, and awesome stuff. Love it. So Emily, take notes. That's a micro piece of content we could put later on. So awesome. So you got to leave the audience with one thing. It could be about notes, could be something personal, a thought, a quote, something that you just learned. One thing you got to leave the audience with. What would that be?
The only thing that you guarantee by not taking action is failure. That's the only thing. So I don't care what you're doing, whether it's fix and flips, wholesalings, rentals, lease owns, whatever, notes, whatever it is. If you don't take action, you're never going to succeed. So the only thing you guarantee by not taking action is failure.
Love it. Mike, do you have a mic drop like sound on there?
I do, but it's too expensive of a Yeti to mic drop it right.
Okay. Hey, there you go. We'll make a little sound here later on. But awesome stuff. We appreciate it, Scott. If somebody wanted to contact you, is the website the best way to do that, or is there any other way to contact you?
Yeah, if you just go to weclosenotes.com and contact me there, Scott at weclosenotes. I'm one of the guys that answers my emails all the time, text message or whatever. But go to the website, go to the social media profiles. Myself or one of my staff members will respond relatively quickly for you. But we're here to help. I love spend time on the phone with people, helping get rock and rolling in some sort of fashion and spend time with them.
Very cool.
Awesome.
We're going to have all that linked below. Yep. Yes. Thank you, Scott. We appreciate it. We're definitely going to have you back soon. This was a fun interview. Have you back soon for sure.
Awesome.
All right. Well, cool stuff. So we're going to have all that linked in the comment section there. So you guys make sure you check that out. All of the websites, the podcast, the note camps that he has and everything. Like there's so much stuff here that Scott gives out. So guys, make sure you take advantage of that. And then Scott, you talked about texting notes to 7,200. Did I get that right? 72,000. Yes. Okay. So 30.
72,000.
Got it. All right. So then that'll get them a bunch of free content as well. And then one more time, let us know how they can sign up for that event coming up.
If they just go to weclosenotes.com and you'll see our class schedule. You click on the schedule of the virtual note buying workshop. It'll pull up a page. If you use the code GOODS, all caps, it should knock it down to half off for you.
Very cool. We definitely appreciate that for our listeners. Some very valuable stuff. So awesome. We'll appreciate it. We're going to have all that linked in the comment section. Make sure you guys check that out. That's going to do it for today's episode. We appreciate you guys joining in and listening to this podcast. If you guys haven't already, make sure you have subscribed to the Good Success Podcast. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Play, all the podcast platforms. So just subscribe there, look us up, and then leave us a review if you're able to do that. We'd much appreciate that. And then we have the Active Turnkey book, The Best Way to Buy Rentals by Tom Olson himself, president of Good Success. He wrote this book specifically for you. He's paying for it. All you guys got to do is go to goodsuccess.com/ATKbook. Pick it up there absolutely for free. All you got to do is cover shipping costs. Tom's going to pay for the book. You guys could have it. A lot of value in there. Best Way to Buy Rentals, Active Turnkey by Tom Olson. And then the Good Success Mastermind. We've talked about it a little bit, but goodsuccess.com/mastermind. The next event is November 8, 9, and 10 in Miami, Florida. Very excited about that. We got a really good turnout that's coming out, so make sure you guys check that out. Fill out the application. You'll talk to either myself or Tom, and then we'll chat there. Community Go Giver event. Tickets are already on pre-sale, so you guys can check those out. Early bird tickets are on pre-sale right now. Save a couple $100. We're getting a very stacked lineup together right now. We're going to bring out more information about that pretty soon, but you guys can already get the tickets for the next event, June 26, 27, 28. That is going to do it for today's episode. We appreciate you joining in, and remember to be a conduit, not a bucket.
Work to have to give.
Catch you in the next one. Thank you so much for listening to this Good Success Podcast episode. Make sure to subscribe to us. We're on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Anchor, or Spotify, any one of those platforms, however you like to listen to your podcast. Make sure you subscribe. And just a quick reminder to go pick up your free copy of the Active Turnkey book. It's absolutely free. Just cover the shipping costs and we'll pay for the book. Just head over to goodsuccess.com/ATKbook. Again, that's goodsuccess.com/ATKbook. And you can pick up the book there. So make sure you go do that. Thank you for listening. And remember to be a conduit, not a bucket.